I'm Vijay Vaitiswaran, China Business and Finance Editor for The Economist and chairman of the Ideas Economy event series. You're about to see one of the highlights from our 2013 Ideas Economy Innovation Forum. I hope you enjoy it. Tell us what you think at #IdeasEconomy.
We at Google get anywhere between 2.5 to 3.5 million unique applications every year. And we've been growing the company in the past by about 4,000 people a year to give you a sense of what the pass-through rate is.
So no one wants to work at Google.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
No one's ever heard of us is the problem. If only people had heard of Google.
So how do you weed out the innovative ones?
Well, we don't weed out the innovative ones. We try to screen those in.
Find the innovative ones, I should say.
But there's a couple principles. Number one is we hire for capability and learning ability before we hire for expertise. We actually would rather hire smart, curious people than people who are deep experts in one area or another, because a smart person who's curious and able to learn will 90% of the time come up with a pretty good answer, but somebody who's been doing the same thing forever will typically just replicate what they've seen before. And so you need a mix, but we skew heavily towards people who are kind of open to new ideas and creative. The second thing we do is we don't compromise our hiring bar, ever. It means it takes us longer to fill an open job than it does in some other organizations. But the reason is we sort of have to kiss a lot of frogs before we find a prince or a princess. And as a result, we have a very low rate of sort of people who end up not working out. And the final thing is we make the process as objective as possible. So we, of course, use a lot of data to make sure we're sort of doing things fairly in an unbiased way. But we, for example, don't let hiring managers make a hiring decision. Every person who's hired by Google will get interviewed by a hiring manager, but that is one vote among many, and it gets reviewed by hiring committees, and eventually still gets reviewed by Larry Page, our CEO and founder, before we make an offer.